You guys probably don't know, some of you guys know, Gabe and I used to play on the same high school basketball team. Gabe was the starting center for my high school basketball team when we won OFSA. That was, what, 20 years ago?
20 years ago.
It's actually the 20-year anniversary. Some of you guys aren't even born, so yeah.
All you guys are.
All of
Yeah.
them.
I literally didn't start playing basketball until I was 14 years old. And I mean, Gary can say I wasn't ever a great player, but I was a pretty athletic kid with a pretty good motor. If I had started playing basketball when I was 11 or 12, I probably would have been a lot better. So you guys have the advantage of having this great basketball and coaching infrastructure, which I'd say is amazing. There's a huge logistics effort because we still, even though much of what we do now is digital and like millions of people read us on their mobiles or whatever, we still have 300,000 newspapers that get across the country every day. So if you can imagine, there's somebody who has to figure out, like kind of like a general with a little army in cities in Halifax, Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver. How do you get those 20,000, 30,000 newspapers out? And so much as we are a 21st century digital sort of media organization, there's still a lot of old-fashioned stuff. Trucks have to hit the road every morning, and if you guys get newspapers at your house, people, when they don't show up, people get upset. You get calls, little old ladies in Medicine Hanover who don't get their crossword puzzle will call you up, and you have to kind of, those are your customers, and you got to kind of respect that. So at the same time, we are dealing with teenagers who want to know things fast. They want us to be on Twitter. They want us to be as sharp as they are. They want us to be. So we have to we're in an interesting space where we have to serve multiple audiences who have different ideas, who have different needs, and so that's one of the challenges we face on a daily basis in a very fast changing business. What I learned from those teams was, the biggest single thing I learned as a guy who has a big ego and a big mouth was, and I'm still not totally mastered of that, but I learned how to play a role. That's the biggest thing I learned. I learned that I wasn't bigger than the team, and I learned that because I had a great coach and I had great teammates. So that to me is a lesson that I forget it sometimes. You can ask my colleagues, but when I think about it, that's a lesson that I learned best when I was playing at Oakland. There's no doubt. I was a 6'5". I was 6'5" in grade 10. Okay, and I was. I always wanted to be a point guard. So if we ever played pickup, if we ever had a practice that wasn't structured, I would always get yelled at because I would always get a rebound and I wouldn't want to make the outlet pass. I would want to bring it up the court myself. I would want to make a no-look pass. Half of the time it went off someone's ankle or elbow. People would scream at me and I wouldn't listen because in my mind I was Scottie Pippen. I was not, Kurt Rambis. But in truth, when it came down to rolling up your sleeves and winning a Toronto championship and then getting through a tournament where you're playing 5 games in a couple of days against really tough players. We played a semifinal in OFSA in Cubs Coliseum in 1993 against a team from Martin Grove Collegiate where there was a center called Sean Gray, he was like a legend in our time. He was a 6'7", 6'8" guy with a wingspan of about 6'11". Linky was his nickname. And he could jump and he could run and he could play defense. And I played 32 minutes in that game. I never left the floor. I scored maybe 1 point, but we won 45-42. I remember the score. And the entire game, all I did was box Sean Gray out. And you know what?
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
That's all I did. Every time the ball left someone's hands, my back was in his grill. Like I was on Sean Gray like this for 32 minutes. And you know what? I had great games. I was in the Toronto Star for hitting a game-winning shot at the Jarvis tournament.
Remember that one?
I had games where I scored 16, 20 points, 15 rebounds. I never got more credit from my coaches or my teammates than the game when I just put my head down and played a role like that. So, although it was fun hitting a game-winning shot. The great thing about our business, which I tell my staff, which I try to tell myself, on days when things aren't going my way, is, it's a business where it's about ideas. And if you have a great idea, coming in on the streetcar or the subway or your car, you can come in. You can if you can pitch it right, which means if you can articulate it properly and sell it to your editor, within 24 hours, 1 million people can share your idea. That's an amazing position to be in. And I try to tell my staff, everyone likes to complain, Some people don't like to play defense, some people don't like to rebound, some people don't like to box out, some people don't like to do the little stuff. But you know what? There's always a reason you do that little stuff. And sometimes you lose sight when you're doing the little things, that there's a big thing at the end of it. To me, that's, in our business, in basketball, the big thing is the win. Is, you know, playing your role so that at the end you've got that trophy, or you feel like you've put it all on the floor. In our business, it's that, you know, it's that ability to change how people perceive things for the better. And I tell my staff that, don't lose sight of that. No pressure.
Was it true that Coach Gary was actually like really, really good?
Yeah.
When I play him, I beat him all the time.
You do? Is he going easy on you?
No, he goes hard. It's way, but I'm going easy on him.
I think we've got a future leader here.